Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Lost Ark. Now I realized that I've pissed off quite a number of people yesterday when I made a video indicating that Lost Ark was pay to win. As a matter of fact, if you go to the comment section of that video, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to come out and say, oh my god, look at these comments. I bet you're getting ratioed into oblivion in the like to dislike ratio, aren't you, Rurikhan? And this is one of those situations where I really wish YouTube had not removed the dislike counter from videos so that people could get an accurate representation of what the community's feeling is on a video so that they wouldn't have to take my word for it, because, you know, once I show you guys these statistics behind the scenes, some people are going to be very quick to say, that's Photoshop, you're lying, you're a liar. And it's like, listen, I wouldn't give myself the trouble of doing that. So here is the video analytics of yesterday's video ahead of time so that we can just show you guys. You guys can see the likes versus dislikes here. It is at 83.8%. meaning that 17% something, 17 plus something percent of you guys, actually it's less than that, it's like 16.7% of you guys actually said that you don't like the video. And it's like, I really don't like this. I really wish that, listen, YouTube, can we just have dislikes back? Can you just like turn it off for creators that are snowflakes or something, and the rest of us normal human beings can just get friggin' dislikes back because we're not scared of receiving feedback from our communities? Anyways, that's completely besides the point. Let's get back to the topic at hand. I want to talk about Lost Ark because a lot of people started painting me yesterday as a Lost Ark hater, which is not the case. As a matter of fact, I made it very clear to people that despite the game being pay to win, I never said that you shouldn't play the game. I never said that you shouldn't enjoy the game, which made me question if enough people actually watched the video, or did you actually just saw the title where it says Lost Ark is pay to win, don't lie to yourself, and just assume, oh my god, he's just another Lost Ark hater just jumping on the bandwagon to hit into the game, as if I have something to gain by Lost Ark actually failing, which let me tell you in no uncertain terms that I've got nothing to gain from Lost Ark failing. Quite the opposite. As someone who enjoys MMOs, I have a lot to lose if Lost Ark fails, because once again, people are going to lose faith in the genre, and therefore the genre is going to go back into being a lot less popular than it was in the past. And we're going to go back to the dark days of basically, hey, here's World of Warcraft, and there's like one or two more MMOs that you can kind of pick from. As a matter of fact, we're seeing a resurgence of MMOs, and if anything, I want to see more of them, and I want to see them succeed. I want to see New World become more successful. I hope that Amazon does something that they can friggin' turn it around. I want to see Guild Wars 2 be more successful, because that game deserves a lot of recognition that it is not getting. I want to see Lost Ark be as successful as possible. You see 1.3 million players, however much it was the peak on the weekend of launch. I hope next weekend it gets 5 million, 6 million, 10 million. The more, the better. I really don't understand why people think that because I said that Lost Ark is pay to win, like I'm here in some friggin' soapbox, you shouldn't play Lost Ark. It's like, I don't care. I don't care if you play Lost Ark or not. If anything, the only thing I care about is for the game to be as successful as it possibly can be. And this is not me, going back on what I've said in the other video. It doesn't change the fact that, as far as I'm concerned, the game is pay to win, and that there's a lot of people that are rationalizing, well, it's pay to win, but to what extent, and to this and that and the other. And there's people going into that video saying, well, Rurikhan, by your definition, then Final Fantasy XIV is pay to win. And yes, you're right. You're not wrong. I mean, you can basically buy, level skips in Final Fantasy XIV. You can skip the story. I'm not sure that that's necessarily something that you should do because the story, at least for me, was a great portion of my enjoyment of Final Fantasy XIV, but you can skip. And not only that, you can skip and you can use the level skip. I believe they give you like 500,000 gil or something on your level skip characters. At least that's what I've heard when I've been discussing that particular topic in my stream. I haven't really level skipped any of my characters, and I actually suck at making gil in MMOs, and I have 20 million gil, gold, whatever. I suck at grinding in terms of like actually acquiring currency in MMOs, and I have like 20 million gil in Final Fantasy XIV, and I don't even play the game all that much. So this is like, 500,000 gil is not that much, but by the definition of pay to win, yes, it is pay to win because you can just like invest a whole bunch of money to get a whole bunch of gil into the game. Then you can use that gil to purchase crafted gear, and therefore, yes, it can be considered pay to win. Not only that, Brian from Work the Game brought up the point of there's a mount that you can buy, which I believe is the Final Fantasy VII bike or something, which I don't own that mount. I don't have it, but I believe that basically it gives you maximum ground speed before you have the maps, which for those of you who don't know, in Final Fantasy XIV, there's these things called maps that you can buy that make you move a little bit faster. I think it's like 20% or something. And the bike doesn't need the maps. It just moves at maximum speed the whole time. I believe that speed doesn't really come into play once you get flying, which is usually reasonably fast in Final Fantasy XIV. So I don't think the bike is a big deal at all. But yes, by everyone's by everyone's definition, it should be considered pay to win because you can basically pay to gain an advantage in the game. And you guys are like, oh, you're just moving a little bit faster. It's an advantage. I don't care if you're just moving 20% faster. It's an advantage. It's that simple. And it's like, look, my definition of pay to win is the moment that you can put money into a game. It is, and it gives you like some form of power, whether that power is movement speed or, additional currency or purchasing of items. If you can do that with real money, to me, that game is pay to win. So it's just like, I really don't understand why people are so mad about it when you can just keep playing the game and enjoying it. I never told you not to do it. And if anything, like I said at the start of this video, I hope the game succeeds because more MMOs being successful is better for the MMO genre as a whole because there's going to be more competition. Therefore, World of Warcraft is going to be forced to do a better job at retaining its players so that they don't go to another MMO. Final Fantasy XIV is forced to do a better job at retaining its players so that they don't run away to another MMO. And basically, one MMO being successful in the space and being a viable alternative for the players of the MMO genre makes every other MMO be better because they have to do a better job to secure their players. And we as MMO players only have to gain. It's like, I don't understand how I have to spell this out for people, but that's what it seems to be the case. It's the same thing whenever people start talking about console wars, which I've talked about in my main channel, which is like whenever somebody's like, oh man, Xbox is this and like PlayStation's going down or the other way around. It's like, you do understand that one of these big brands basically losing out massively to the other one is a bad thing. Right? I trust that people understand that because that's how you get into a situation where you go from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. And the Xbox One was a garbage value proposition for consumers. And Phil Spencer basically had his work cut out for him from the moment that he stepped into Microsoft. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is the concept of competition breeds innovation. Competition is a good thing in the space, and the game being successful is a good thing. Now, having said that, I should also mention that after what I've played of the game up until this point, I've decided that it's not going to be for me. I'm not going to be continuing to play Lost Ark. I checked it out. I think the gameplay is a lot of fun, but why is it not from you? You guys might be like, well, I mean, if you like MMOs, why do you not like Lost Ark? I mean, the animations are good. The gameplay looks phenomenal in terms of like, the moment-to-moment gameplay, the raids. And yes, all of that stuff looks amazing. As a matter of fact, I got and I did the raid on Lutera Castle, I believe. And that blew my mind. I was like, dude, this is amazing. I to be honest, I just wish that more of the story could be like that because up until that point, to me, it was kind of like Resident Sleeper. There was not that many like really memorable moments in Lost Ark right up until that big castle siege with friggin' like battering rams breaking down the walls of the castle and you're sliding down the chains and some of the other stuff that I've seen with like the little rail carts and whatnot, and you're going through and all of these fantastical scenarios that I've seen of gameplay in Lost Ark, they seem friggin' outstanding. And I really genuinely hope that people end up having a blast with it. So why am I not jumping into it? Because one of the things that I've realized from what little I've played of Lost Ark is that Lost Ark is a fantastic game if you plan on having it be your main game. Your one game that you're going to be playing pretty much to the exclusion of almost everything else. And in the position that I'm at right now, where I am 40 years old, 2 kids, I have like 2 channels of content to maintain. I quite simply cannot dedicate all of my time to just playing this one game. But for people that can do that, I think they'll enjoy it a lot. And I think that they're in for a really good time because just the sheer amount of content variety, like even just looking at the stuff that you're watching right now in this trailer that's happening, there's like all kinds of different gameplay that they have through the Island Expeditions feature and whatnot. And that seems really appealing. But it's also extremely time consuming. And you guys are like, well, I mean, anything that is worth it is time consuming. You play Monster Hunter, right? Yeah, I play Monster Hunter. I have like, how many hours in Rise? Like 700 hours or so over the last couple of months. But Rise is essentially kind of like one of the big games that I cover and whatnot. And Lost Ark, by a different take, is basically something that was released like 4 years ago in Korea, and therefore most of the content has already been figured out. And so it's like stuff in terms of guides and whatnot. There's not a whole lot for me to work on at this point because people have figured it out. People have talked about it through the Russian servers and all that. So it's more like something that I was going to be doing for fun. And a lot of the things in the game were not being like super fun for me. Like the idea of hunting down these Makoko seeds throughout the entirety of the world does not seem particularly appealing to me. Like if you're into it for the collectibles aspect and all that stuff, then go have a blast. Like I said, it's fantastic if it's your one game that you plan on playing, which for me, it's not the case. Like I'm going to be playing Elden Ring when that comes out. I'm going to be playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak when that comes out, you know. And then I watched the video where I'm not going to be reacting to that video live here, but I did watch this video from, what's his name again? From Divium Furor. And this is like one of the most important things for me because this was one of the things that was actually turning me off to the game. Was the more I was playing Lost Ark, the more I was like, okay, I need to figure out how this thing works in terms of like min-maxing my character, because I'm obsessed with min-maxing stuff. If you've seen my Monster Hunter content or any of my other content, pretty much you guys know that I'm obsessed about min-maxing and coming up with different builds and stuff like that. And I was looking at this and I was like, Jesus Christ, this looks like a goddamn nightmare. So like you can upgrade your gear all the way up to level 25 and you need like friggin' 5 different currencies and items and whatnot to upgrade your gear. Then on top of it, you need to upgrade your tripod, which are like your skill runes almost, like in Diablo. At least if I'm remembering this particular system correctly, you need to upgrade that. Looks like there's a 5% success chance on whatever the system is. There's the upgrading of the card system, which this was another weird thing. Like I picked up a bunch of cards that I couldn't equip. The game didn't really, it was like, oh yeah, you picked up some cards. And I was like, great, I want to equip them. No, you can't. And I was like, but so I don't know what's up with that. People were telling me in chat, oh, some of the cards you can equip, some of them are just like for collecting. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, then there's the card system that you got to do for additional, passive bonuses. Then there's the engraving system, which, this requires a significant amount of grinding to get this thing down right. And I did a little bit of engraving. I mean, not really like to the level of endgame, obviously, because like I said, I just played up to level 30 or whatever. But I was at the point where they were explaining to me how engraving worked, and I faceted a couple of stones, which I could then use for the engraving upgrades. And that's when I realized, oh wow, this is extremely RNG. This is on a different level. And then there's also these gems, which I don't even know what these are, okay? I never even got to the point where I learned what the hell these gems are. So it's like all of these different systems, I was feeling incredibly overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that you have to invest in order to figure this stuff out. And naturally, the game is designed in a way where you can, and most likely if you're going to just try to brute force through it without seeing guides online, you're most likely going to make mistakes, which is eventually going to cost you a significant amount of time and or money, depending on the way that you want to deal with that particular situation. But let's just say that to me, this was kind of like a turnoff, because I know that all of these systems are associated with some kind of, currency that you can basically acquire by pulling out your wallet and getting advantages that way, which how some people can say that that's not pay to win is beyond me. But, let's not get bogged down in the details, shall we? So then we also have this little detail thing here. This was really the moment where I was like, okay, this is not going to be for me. And again, I want to make sure that people really understand. I'm really going to spell this out multiple times because I really hate it when my videos are misinterpreted. So I'm really going to spell this out multiple times. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play the game. I'm saying that this is something that I'm personally not particularly interested in. And here's the thing. From a gameplay perspective, I would love to have seen all these things. But from a time investment perspective, 7 to 10 months? 7 to 10 months. And this is like gated content. So like if you are not paying for it, like right this instant, because obviously there's going to be the whatever later down the line, I think it's like 4 months down the line, according to what he said in this video, you're going to get this, which makes things a little bit faster. So it's going to be 4 to 6 months. And then just the simple fact that, you know, or you can just pull out your wallet and bam, one day, boom, good to go. You're ready to check out all of this content. It's like, to me, you get to a point where it doesn't really matter how amazing this content is if quite simply I don't have this time, which I don't. And like I said, this is going to depend from person to person. Like all of you guys that were telling me in the comment section, I know what you're talking about, game's fun, I don't care. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. If it's fun, play it. Enjoy yourself. Like, I don't understand why you're looking to me for validation. The only thing that I wanted to bring up with that video is that people are bending over backwards over what is a pay-to-win system and what is not a pay-to-win system. And when you can basically pay to get in one day what it takes to other people that are not paying 10 months, are you really going to try to make the argument that that's not pay-to-win? And when people ask me, what are you winning? Time. How can you? I don't know. I guess that a lot of people just don't value their time as much. There was also a comment that I thought was really funny, which there was this guy saying like, "We live in a capitalist society. Don't bring communism into video games." I'm like, holy crap! Must be a San viewer or something. Anyway, besides the point. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that I basically bounced off of it. It's like, this is not the only thing. Like, there was also the fact that I felt like, even though I was having fun with the gameplay, I always felt like I wasn't going to have as much fun engaging with the endgame systems. And I should also mention that I've previously played, like a long time ago, I've played Lineage 2, which was my very first Korean MMO, and I've played a crap ton of that. And that kind of taught me that when it comes to Korean MMOs, yeah, it's something that I personally already have a bias against. It's not my kind of style of game, but ultimately, you know, I wanted to give it a shot. I tried it out. I think it's real fun. I like the fact that, you know, they just throw balls to the walls and go wild with the way that the game works, which it really throws a lot of stuff. You know, it defies your expectations of a game like that. Like I said, I only did like one thing that I thought was really cool, which was that level 30 quest in the castle. I thought that was awesome, but that was a really cool quest. And I just hope that they do more of that. You know, I just hope that they do more of that so that everybody can enjoy that aspect of it and keep enjoying the game. Just like, seriously, just honestly, keep enjoying the game. If it's something that you're enjoying, go ahead, have fun. You don't need my validation for it. But from my experience and from the definition that I accept of pay to win, it is pay to win. And the people that were bringing up, well, in that case, World of Warcraft's pay to win as well. I've said that many times. In that case, Final Fantasy's pay to win as well. Yes, it is. It is by the definition of pay to win. Yes, it is. Can you buy in-game currency? You can't really buy it directly, but you can buy it through level boosts. So yes, it is. And I know that now that I'm going to have people on both fields mad at me because, oh, how dare you say that Final Fantasy XIV is pay to win? It is. Whether or not you should do it, that's a different thing altogether, because in Final Fantasy XIV, you don't have this. Can you pay to go to the raid in one day? Actually, I don't even think you can, because you can only level up to 80. You still have to, right? You can't level up to 90. So you still have to, like, spend a significant chunk of time going from 80 to 90 to get to the raid. So you can't even do it as fast as this. But, you know, either way, doesn't matter. Ultimately, just wanted to clear that up and just wanted to tell you guys my final thoughts on Lost Ark. I'm also interested in checking out, like, Asmongold's video on it, so I might do a video reaction to that later. And there was another content creator who did also another video on Lost Ark that I might check out. But like I said, if you guys are enjoying it, enjoy it. Have a good time. Live your best life. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.